Aris, thank you very much for your time. And tell us, what do we have to learn about the resilience in general?
Well, it's a big topic, and it didn't start with us. We wouldn't be here today if our ancestors were not resilient to start with. And it's something we need to carry forward with us. So we need, first of all, to respect nature, to respect the forces of nature, because these forces are much bigger than us. And unfortunately, as we've collected into cities, we've lost some contact with nature, the forces of nature. And we feel that we control our environment. We also feel, because so many people are around us, this kind of safety in numbers. And also government tries to make us feel more comfortable that they'll take care of everything. So we've kind of relaxed ourselves a bit. Yet nature is still there. Nature is still the biggest presence in our whole life. And so it's about us doing the things that will allow us to be balanced with nature. Nature has forces, has a lot of energy, can put a lot of force on our homes, on our communities, on our streets. We have to design for that. We have to build for that. We have to operate our lives to accommodate for that. So that's the essence.
How can we respect the earth or our spaces when we see the real big development, urban development in the cities? How can you find this resilience, this respect, and this order to not to compete, but to respect the nature?
It's not easy today in the cities to do that, in fact. But a few things can help us. First of all, education, how we educate our children, schools, and also at home, and also through our communities. I mean, we've done a great job, I think, educating them to respect green products, to respect recycling. In fact, I like to say a story from my two daughters when they were very young, like elementary school, and they were checking on where I was throwing the garbage. They wanted to make sure I was doing the right thing. They had already learned that in the school. So they were inspecting their parents. And I was impressed because I thought, wow, this is not just a fashion, it's a real movement, a social movement. How do we do the same thing with resilience? Our ancestors had that respect for nature. Many of us, including my own great-grandparents, they lived in small villages. They were in contact with nature. They knew the forces, the water, the wind, the landslides, all these cold weather, hot weather. Staying in touch with nature helps in our cities. Yes, sometimes the only contact we have is the park, but sometimes we can go outside, we can see that. Seeing, learning from the disasters that have happened, not only in our own country, but other countries, learning from that. The media can help very much, not just when events happen, but on a more continuous and systematic, steady basis. So it's not just what they call disaster entertainment today. We feel sometimes we're just chasing disasters for the sensation. No, disasters are real, they're learning experiences, and there's something that should affect how we live.
People that are participating in these kind of movements and trends used to say that it is not only a matter of the government and only a matter of society, but you should include the developers and the people that build edifications and places where really they need to be, and not only where the money shows a place to build. What do you think about it?
This is a topic I'm very close to because I was part of that community for more than 25 years in my career. Now I've retired, I can look back and see the good things, the bad things. I can be more critical of myself and of the industry. The truth is that we've created an economic system, so I call it a systemic problem, that rewards vulnerability. You can create a vulnerable building in a vulnerable location, and if the government lets you do it, if the buyer or the consumer doesn't know the difference between that and something resilient, and if you can make money, profit doing it, you will do it over and over and over again until one of those things change.
You have experience in Greece and you see things in Miami. And I don't know, what do you think about the system that Mexico has created from the earthquake, not 30 years ago, but 2 years ago?
I'm still learning about Mexico, and being here at this Arise Mexico forum is a great opportunity for me to hear and to learn more things. The interesting thing is that the problems are very similar. The issues are very similar whether you're in country X or in country Y. And the solutions also have a lot of similarities to them. Sometimes we think we're unique, we need to develop a unique solution, but really we can learn from the mistakes of others or the learning experiences of others. So I believe, and part of the purpose of Arise as an international network is to facilitate that. So, I see Mexico wanting to move in the right direction. I see Mexico obviously challenged because it has a large population. It's easier to do some of these things in a small country like Greece with, say, 12 million people than in 120 million people in Mexico. It also, the economic situation can affect, what can be done and how it can be done. But culture is at the foundation of a lot of what we talk about. And, I grew up in Greece, and I would see, and later I understood, how important that was. I would see poor people, people who could not afford, but were saving a little bit every day. And with that savings, they intended to build a house, a resilient house, but they couldn't build it all at once. They had to build the foundation one year, the columns the next year, the first roof, but they wanted it to be resilient. And they would rather put their money there than put it to buy something fancier, maybe some furniture, some electronic, a car. So they made resilience a priority, even at that social level.